This video is going to show you how to get the new exotic chestplate for the Titan called ABOR WARDEN. There are 3 new exotic armor pieces this season. One for the Warlock helmet, Hunt has got a gauntlets, Titan has chestplate. The first day of Season of the Deep, the Lost Sector daily rotation is chestplate. So Titan mains need to go in and get this day 1. I recommend that you do. Because say like you come back in a few days after work and you get on and you pump to get the new exotic, chances are you're 2 or 3 days off rotation of where you should be to get your exotic. So if you're on, prioritize this over doing new quests. Even if the exotic isn't good, they may buff it at a later point. On that, this is what it does. Barricade, it states, using your class ability, this channels defensive light inward, providing a grenade that creates a barricade on impact. I have done no testing regarding the barricade or the gameplay loop of this exotic. I've had 5 minutes with it. I honestly think it's not that good. I don't know if it's going to be like a viable build and it's going to be other exotics like the new Stram one or Heart of Inmost Light or, you know, stuff like that. We've got plenty of barricade builds in for the Titan. I don't see what role this is filling, and I don't think this is going to be a good chestplate overall. But as I say, I still recommend that you get it. But for those who aren't that bothered and it doesn't interest you, then at least you know now what it does. In terms of what we would, the Lost Sector itself, it's K1 Revelation, which is unfortunate. It's a longer one. It's 1830, so providing that you were 1810 pinnacle score from last season, then you're 20 under, which is nigh on Grandmaster 25 under almost, right? Obviously, it's not the same as a Grandmaster. By no means it isn't. But you're still going to have to be wary. So that's why we went with a build. But I'm using a unique build with the new gun, with the new exotic auto from the season pass, which is Zalo Supercell from D1, but D2's variant. It is the same type of gun, but the way you use it is completely different to that gun, which I'll talk about and you'll see in the run. The mods for the Lost Sector though, Overcharged Machine Gun, Strand Surge, Arc Surge, other important things, Void Threat, champions are Barrier and Unstoppable. So you need to know those mods, the rest of the mods doesn't matter. So like I said, we're using this new gun called Centrifuse. So the perk says, sprinting, sliding and firing this weapon builds a temporary electrostatic charge, increasing range and reload speed. Final blows with high charge causes explosions, and maximum charge explosions blinds targets. This weapon has a lot of utility. When you think back on all the exotics that we've been handed for free, I don't mean for cash, I mean handed for free as in you do a couple of quests, you get a gun. Last really good utility weapon we had was Shrieker, Witch Queen, right? Since then, we haven't had a decent, like, primary with good utility capability. This gun's got a little bit of that. It ain't no Osteo, but it's got a lot of good things going about it, and you'll see that in the gameplay. Another perk that's amazing is Regenerative Motion. Sprinting gradually reloads this weapon. And the sliding and all this. So, honestly, it's good, and I've paired that with Striker Titan. Why not? Because it's an arc build. So I'm not going to talk too much about my build, but I'm just going to show you on screen roughly what I'm using. I used Fist of Havoc just to test out the Roman Super capabilities, as they've been buffed and all this stuff. But for most of you, you just want to use Thunder Crash, I would say, right? But yeah, it's just the standard Storm Grenade build that you would see anyone who is familiar with this game, right? Which Storm Grenade build is still good, especially with Heart of Inmost Light. We paired that with a hand cannon, the gun, the exotic auto with a hand cannon, so we need unstoppable for unstoppable champs. And we used a machine gun. It's arc, rapid hit, target lock, just because I was testing it out at the time. As you can see, I've only got 9 kills with it, literally. But it's a really good, it's actually fantastic, this machine gun. But any machine gun you want to use. If you don't want to use a machine gun, then match a surge instead. Whatever you want to use, but I wouldn't recommend like a legendary sword or lament or something because you're under leveled. In terms of, as I say, armor mods, I won't talk too much about that, but every armor mod is put on to get my grenade or my ability energy quicker. Void resist is important. I've got a concussive dampener on there as well. I messed up because I put 2 arc holsters on, meant to put an arc scav and an arc holster. That was my bad. So everything's just on just to get more nades. That's literally it. And obviously prioritizing those stats. I put boss spec on the machine gun. Should have put major spec. That was error 2. But other than that, that's everything that I was using. So as you start the run, you want to immediately throw a Storm Grade. The sooner that you do this, the better you're going to get more chaining going on, because all the acolytes are sort of grouped up just as you enter. If you're slow about it though, they start to spread out a little bit. So try to, as I say, get a Storm Grade down as quickly as possible. So you're going to see me doing a lot of Striker Titan style running around type thing, because we've got the overcharged capacitor perk on the left hand side, and basically at all times, literally I've only literally used this gun for 30 minutes, right? So I'm not 100% 100% used to it yet. But you want that perk active at all times. You shouldn't be reloading at all, ever, really. Only if you may be stationary and you're having to take down a shield. Maybe you've took down a shield on a barrier champ and then you need to take down another one, say, then do that. This barrier champion, the first one you meet, if you come to the right hand side, you've got a good angle on that barrier champ, and he isolates the champion away from the acolytes that throw nades at you. So make sure that you do that. But the play loop of this weapon is that you want to be constantly sliding and running around. This was actually quite dangerous. I am actually quite rusty at Destiny. I haven't played Destiny 2 properly in probably 6 weeks. 5, I don't know how many weeks it's been. It's been ages. I barely played, so just bear that in mind. But yeah, get these initial acolytes. There'll be some acolytes come out of that door to your right. If you've got a storm grenade, obviously use, as that'll take out most. The barrier will spawn on the bottom platform, which I don't recommend you engage with this barrier at all, because once you get into about half HP, he pushes back too far back anyways. So your goal is the Shrieker. Right, now if you can get the Shrieker in one cycle, kill the Shrieker before he kills you, then that's fine. But if you're worried you're about to die to the Shrieker, then, because it is Void Threat, don't forget, then do it in 2 cycles. Do a bit of damage, let your health regen, and then go again. This is where all auto rifles will suffer, not just this auto rifle. However, it's doing alright, and plus you do get more range when you've got maximum stacks of the overcharged capacitor. I don't know how much more range that adds, because as I say, it's literally the guns just literally come out, so you can't expect me to know like that information. However, there'll be somebody on Reddit that's already tested it. I can guarantee it. But yeah, with this K1 Revelation, it's one of the worst. It is a bad lost sector to farm in general, just because there's 3 areas, and each 3 localized separate areas has a champ tied to it. I am glad that there's no wizards though. In a way, I use a super there on the top cliff. The reason for that is this: when you fight at the bottom of the hill like this, like I am now, you're getting a lot of fire from the ads on the up above on the hill, not on the cliff, but up on the hill. Right, so you're taking fire from that, but if you're taking fire from the ads on the cliff as well, that can be death. That could be a death. That's where you're going to get problems. So it's just annoying you getting naded by them. But if you take most of them out, like I did with a super there, right, then that helps a little bit. Plus, the Unstoppable may even push you like this, which the Unstoppable has. So notice I'm not committing to the 1 cycle of this Unstop, although I probably could have done. But when you're 20 power under on an Unstoppable like that, when you get your stun, get all your damage in while that champ's stunned. But if you hide behind cover as the champion regains consciousness, the champ will forget sort of where you are. He'll have the general idea that you're somewhere down here, but not exactly. Whereas, if you stay aggroed on the champ and you commit to the kill, but the champ's not killable, and then you lose the buff from when you do stun a champ, then the champ's just going to walk over to you, stomp you in one shot. So there's always that danger. That's why I always, like, if I'm like, oh, I'm not killing this champ in time. Plus, it saves on ammo, right? It saves on ammo as well. It means that you're dealing damage only when you're supposed to, not when a champion's unstunned. So that's always a good thing. Remember, we haven't got the void. We haven't got that void buff from last season. That's gone. The bricks from above it. Well, I don't know what. I can't mind what mods are up. Like the end tier column mods. I don't know if there's any heavy mods, but that void where you get void kills and you get bricks and all that, that's gone. So remember, you're heavy. You're gonna have to start managing your heavy ammo this season, unlike last season. I think that's what kind of killed last season. That mod. It also killed the raid day one because you want to run void weapons and you want to run machine guns. So that mod, fun for a little bit, but it's too strong. It's ruining the season. It's ruining the ammo economy too much. It's teaching people to not manage their ammo economy properly. So we've cleared out the cliff area, we've cleared out the bottom area. Now we've just got the top side. Remember, there's a champion linked to each section, but the champ will only spawn when the initial set of ads are killed, or most of them. The knight and a bunch of acolytes. So this little location on the right hand side is really good because you can group the ads up well for ability kills like nades, especially with the storm grenade. And you've got a decent amount of cover. Notice with the weapon, like I said, when we're running around, it's reloading and it reloads quick. Right? It also reloads, if you manually reload it, it reloads quick as well. But I have got a harmonic loader on, I think. So that's kind of an unfair test. But I'm sure I tested without arc loader and it was still a snappy reload, which was good. So there's a bit of utility with the weapon. What's the utility? Well, the utility is you don't have to reload. When you have the maximum charge, you can infinitely keep that maximum charge, run round, right, to keep that going whilst reloading. But every time you get a kill on just one ad in a group of them, the explosion will blind all the rest of the ads. So this gun has blinding nades, in a sense, but you've got a bit more to do. It won't be as powerful as a blinding nade GL, no, but it is really good. I like what they've done with it with the no reload mechanic. Zalo Supercell were completely different this gun. It just I think it just sort of chained electric when the ads grouped up. So technically, if they actually just brought Zalo Supercell back as it was in D1, it would actually probably be stronger than this gun. But I will, as I say it's still good gun design. This better than what the bow was from the Spider. What that bow's terrible. Shooting through the hoops and all that stuff. Like they literally are making you jump through hoops to make that gun good. And even then, well, the bow. Even then, I don't find that weapon fun at all. Like I say, Manticore, that one, whatever that one was called, that SMG. What a silly idea! Like jumping in the air. It was good. No, it was a good idea, but badly executed. Not enough resistance tied to it. You're a sitting duck in the target. Why in the air? Why do you want to use such a weapon? That's me showing you there. That was a good shield break there by the auto. Remember, auto rifles suffer from range drop off. Generally, if it's not something like a Euro's gift or something, then they start to suffer with range drop off like anything below like 35 meters. And it's steep, especially for like 720 RPM autos, even though they are like very good guns for like ad clear and stuff. But when you're wanting to break a shield, the Valcadian ain't gonna be breaking shields as good as like a Euro's gift and stuff like this. This gun, to me, feels sort of like that, like a Euro's gift type thing, type situation. It's a different RPM, but it has a similar feeling to me, to sort of that. With this ogre, you can head glitch him like so. So we're just spamming our target lock and our rapid hit. There's no more champions spawn after that initial barrier that I killed as the boss spawned, which is the hardest one, by the way. You need to make sure you've got a combination of the storm grenade down plus a fully loaded auto to make sure that you get that one shield break and then whip out your heavy and prioritize getting that barrier down after one shield break, because if you do it in two, you run the risk of the barrier doing that dodge they do behind cover and then all your work's for nothing. So that's where it's urgent to kill that barrier. Um, but then you can just let the storm grains do most of the work. Because in this lost sector, particularly, they group up nicely, which is another reason why I used it. I did do a stram run before this, so I'd done a stram run, and then I'd done this run. But this run was far more fun because it was just nice to run it with this new exotic. Yeah, so overall, I think the gun's good. I think it's interesting with the capacitor perk and reloading. I don't have any idea about the catalyst. I don't know anything about that. When the boss is killed, you don't need to clear out any of these ads. Just go and pick up your chest. But that was solo on this